Welcome back to my channel. Luxury cars gleamed beneath crystal chandeliers as the city's wealthiest collectors filled the grand auction hall. Every seat was occupied by celebrities, billionaires, racing legends, and famous investors. At the very back of the room sat a quiet single father named Daniel Carter. His jacket was faded. His shoes were worn. His old watch barely worked. People assumed he had wandered into the wrong building. Daniel wasn't there to impress anyone. He simply held a small bidder's paddle with the number 128. Nobody paid attention. Until they did. Daniel had once owned a successful restoration garage. Years earlier, his wife had passed away after a long illness, leaving him to raise their 8-year-old daughter, Lily, alone. Medical bills had swallowed everything. Their beautiful house. Their savings. Even Daniel's classic collection had been sold piece by piece. Now he repaired old family cars in a tiny rented workshop. His daughter never complained. Every evening she would say, "Dad, one day we'll build our dream garage again." Daniel always smiled. One day. Today's auction wasn't just any auction. It featured one of the rarest cars ever built. Collectors from around the world had flown in. The opening bid alone was over $3 million. Daniel obviously couldn't afford it. People whispered. "Why is he here? Security should check him. He probably wants free coffee." Several wealthy guests laughed openly. One man wearing an expensive Italian suit leaned toward Daniel. "Wrong address, buddy." The room chuckled. Daniel simply smiled politely. No response. Then she arrived. Sophia Grant. CEO of Grant Motors. Worth billions. Known for buying rare vehicles simply because nobody else could. She noticed Daniel immediately. "Is he actually registered?" Her assistant nodded. "Yes." Sophia laughed. "This should be entertaining." The auction finally began. Vintage Ferraris. Rare Porsches. Limited Bugattis. Every car sold for astonishing prices. Daniel never lifted his paddle. Everyone became even more convinced he had no money. Hours later. The auctioneer smiled. "Ladies and gentlemen. Our final vehicle." The curtains opened. Gasps filled the hall.
Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Enjoy the video.
A dusty silver prototype sat beneath the lights. Most people looked confused. It wasn't beautiful. It wasn't polished. It even looked unfinished. Several guests frowned. "What is that?" The auctioneer explained. This experimental prototype was built nearly 40 years ago. Only one exists. It never entered production. Most collectors immediately lost interest. The design looked strange. The paint was faded. The tires were flat. People assumed it was worthless. Sophia smirked. "I'll buy it for the museum." Opening bid. $100,000. Sophia raised her paddle. $100,000. Nobody responded. The auctioneer looked around. Any other bids? Silence. Then. A calm voice echoed. 120,000. Everyone turned. Bidder 128. Daniel. The room burst into laughter. Sophia smiled. $200,000. Daniel answered immediately. $250,000. The laughter stopped. Sophia narrowed her eyes. $400,000. Daniel. $450,000. People started whispering. Does he actually have money? Sophia wasn't worried. $500,000 meant nothing to her. $700,000. Daniel didn't hesitate. $750,000. Now cameras pointed toward him. The reporters sensed drama. One investor leaned over. "He's bluffing." Another nodded. "No bank would finance him." Sophia crossed her arms. "This ends now. $1 million. The room applauded. Surely Daniel would quit. Instead, he quietly lifted paddle 128. $1.1 million. Complete silence. Even the auctioneer paused. Sophia studied Daniel carefully. He wasn't nervous. He wasn't pretending. He looked certain. That confidence bothered her. She whispered to her automotive expert. "Tell me about that prototype." The expert looked through old documents. His expression slowly changed. Then changed again. Finally, he looked pale. "Ma'am." "What?" "I think this isn't just any prototype." Sophia frowned. "Explain." The expert swallowed. "I think this car contains the original experimental engine developed by legendary engineer Victor Holden." Sophia's eyes widened. "Impossible. If it is genuine, collectors would pay fortunes." Sophia immediately raised her paddle. $2 million. Gasps erupted. Daniel looked at the car one more time. Then calmly said, $2.2 million. Now nobody laughed anymore. Everyone stared. Who was this man? How did he know? Sophia decided to crush him. $3 million. Daniel smiled. $3.1 million. She increased again. $4 million. Daniel answered. $4.2 million. The room became electric. Phones recorded every second. The auction was now global news. Finally Sophia walked toward Daniel during a short pause. "You can't afford this." Daniel smiled. "You seem very confident." "I know you don't have $4 million. Daniel replied quietly. "I never said I didn't." She laughed. "So who are you?" Daniel answered. "Someone who reads engineering history." The auction resumed. $5 million, Sophia announced. Everyone applauded. Daniel slowly stood. The room fell silent. He looked directly at the auctioneer. "I bid." He paused. $6 million. Nobody breathed. $6 million. From the quiet single dad everyone mocked. Even Sophia was speechless. The auctioneer confirmed. "Do we have $6 million?" Daniel calmly handed over a sealed financial guarantee from a private investment group. The lawyers verified it. "It is authentic." The room exploded into shocked murmurs. Sophia realized something. Daniel wasn't gambling. He knew something nobody else knew. She quietly withdrew. "I fold." The auctioneer struck the hammer. "Sold." To bidder number 128. The audience erupted into applause. Minutes later journalists surrounded Daniel. One reporter asked, "Why would you spend $6 million on an unfinished prototype?" Daniel smiled. "Because I wasn't buying the car." Everyone looked confused. "I was buying what was hidden inside it." The auction organizers removed several body panels for inspection. Inside the engine bay, engineers froze. One elderly historian nearly dropped his glasses. "It really is the original Holden Hypertorque experimental engine. The same engine many experts believed had been destroyed decades earlier. Its patents had inspired modern hybrid performance technology worth hundreds of millions. The prototype wasn't worth $6 million. It was practically priceless." Within minutes, collectors began making offers. $15 million. $20 million. $35 million. Finally, an international automotive museum offered $82 million. The room erupted. Sophia slowly walked toward Daniel. She extended her hand. I underestimated you. Daniel shook it politely. No. You underestimated knowledge. The next morning headlines appeared around the world. Single dad turns luxury car auction upside down. Unknown mechanic discovers lost prototype worth $82 million. The man everyone laughed at wins biggest surprise in auction history. Daniel accepted the museum's offer. Instead of buying mansions and yachts, he fulfilled a promise. He purchased an abandoned factory outside the city. Months later, it reopened as Carter Restoration Works. More than 300 mechanics found jobs there. Young apprentices learned classic automotive engineering for free. His daughter Lily walked through the completed workshop holding his hand. Dad! We finally built our dream garage. Daniel smiled. No, sweetheart. We built something even better. A place where people are judged by their skills, not by their clothes. From that day forward, every new employee entering Carter Restoration Works saw one sentence engraved above the main entrance. Knowledge is worth more than appearance. Because the quietest person in the room sometimes carries the biggest surprise of all. Like and subscribe.